Greetings and salutations, loyal viewers of this channel. My name is Sean, and today I want to talk about something that is going on in New York City that is enraging New Yorkers, specifically people in the borough of Brooklyn, although there are incidents of this in Queens and Manhattan and all over the city, and that is the fact that the number of illegal migrants running illegal vending operations on the sidewalks of these major thoroughfares has gone up exponentially, and rather than actually bust them up, rather than actually arrest them, rather than actually stop them, the city is of course slow in their response, even though there's garbage, all kinds of different hazards. And again, if you were a citizen and you tried to open up a clean, legitimate food truck or some kind of vending operation, you would get hammered for not having a vendor's license, because of course New York, on the other side of this issue, heavily restricts the ability for citizens to end up vending out in public. So we're going to talk about this. We're going to discuss how instead of, having consequences for this illegal activity, the city of New York is going to bend over backwards to cater to these illegals, because that's what they always do. And we're also going to discuss about how they're selling stuff on the streets that's stolen. And also some of these migrants are being scammed, because everything's a mess when you do first world prices like New York City, but third world kind of scenery, again, like New York City. Now we're going to get into this, but before we do, thank you for supporting this channel via actualjusticewarrior.com/join.
Give me the money. Give me the money, okay?
Noisy me.
This sanitation issue, not
baloney. Do something about it. Don't talk.
Look, maybe I'm biased because I'm actually a New Yorker myself, but I love the New York attitude right here. Here you have this public meeting to talk about the issue of these migrant vendors that are popping up all over Brooklyn, New York, in these major thoroughfares. That they're discarding garbage. It's a safety hazard. Some of them are cooking with propane tanks on the streets with very rinky-dink rigs, and this woman wants something to be done about it. But of course, this is New York City, so the first thing that happens when a representative is confronted with the consequences of their own policies is they shift blame to somebody else, and they say it's a sanitation issue, and this woman is not having it. She's like, I don't want to hear that. Do something about it. Fix this problem. And in reality, this is the attitude New Yorkers need to have.
Longtime Brooklyn residents like Charlene and Conchetta say illegal vending is now pervasive on several streets from Borough Park to Bensonhurst.
It's just horrible. No one wants to live like this.
So one of the things that I want to point out that's never mentioned throughout the entirety of this segment, despite the fact that you guys can guess it by the title and from other news reports about this very same scenario and about other issues in other boroughs, is that this is largely driven by the migrant crisis. These are illegal migrants from third world nations that are setting up third world style shops on the sidewalks of these areas.
And most of those street vendors are believed to be migrants. And the mayor did address that. He believed a lot of these migrants are turning to different ways to make a few bucks because some of them are not legally authorized to work.
And again, they're in Brooklyn, where it's extraordinarily expensive to live. It is not mentioned throughout the whole course of this video, but the people who are selling fruit, believe me, I'm a New York City person, the people who are engaged in all of this stuff, the people with the likely stolen goods on display at these tables, are disproportionately illegal migrants. The people buying fruit out of a truck so that they don't even have to unload it and bring it into the store, again, are very likely to be illegal migrants. And had that not been the case, had this been citizens, had this been people trying to open up a lemonade stand with their kids running it, New York City would crack down on them in a heartbeat. But because these are the illegals, because these are the god tier super citizens of the United States of America, in that they're not citizens and they shouldn't be entitled to any of this nonsense, they're allowed to operate without consequences. And you have your local city councilwoman deciding that she wants to set up a zone for them to vend illegally, because, we're not going to increase the number of permits for citizens. If you want to be a vendor, you're out of luck. But if you're illegal and you're tearing up the streets and dumping trash all over the place and creating fire hazards, then we're going to be fine with that, because that makes our nation look just a little bit more third world.
The worst areas are on 8th Avenue in Borough Park and 86th Street near Bay Parkway in Bensonhurst. Illegal vendors using propane and open flames to cook meat and fish, people overtaking sidewalks with trinkets, shopkeepers illegally renting sidewalk space to illegal vendors, and dumped garbage that just isn't picked up.
So look, they gave us a lot right there, and you could see people are cooking stuff on the streets. You can see all these different various products. Again, a lot of them are actually stolen, and one of my favorite parts of this story, I guess the one win for the citizens, is that a lot of these people are dumb enough to pay rent to shop owners in order to have this sidewalk space, and they think that's a legitimate arrangement. Now, I do find this kind of troubling because the reason it's being brought up in this local news segment is because of all the people that are actually going to suffer consequences for this, it will be the business owner, and technically it's wrong for them to do so, but the fact of the matter is, all these other things are not going to be cracked down on in any significant way, and what we're witnessing right here, besides the third worldization of the United States of America, are the consequences of a complete and utter lawlessness taking over. Again, I will say this, if you actually want to be a vendor, if you actually get a truck that is equipped to properly cook stuff for people, and you're not one of those lucky people to get some of the very limited licenses, they will shut you down in a heartbeat. They will fine you out the wazoo. They will track you to the ends of the earth. That's how New York City regulators work. But all of this, perfectly fine. Dumping your trash everywhere, perfectly fine. Again, if I throw out a TV in New York City in the wrong borough, I could be cited for that because of electronic waste. If I throw out an air conditioner without calling sanitation, I can be cited for that because of the Freon in there. But all of these people are allowed to dump whatever the hell they want, wherever the hell they want, without any consequences. And when you go to your city council, they blame sanitation. They tell you to call 311. They tell you to shut your face because we're going to set up a migrant vending utopia area all in one location. Absurd in every possible way. And by the way, look at all the different various groups of people that are setting up these vending operations. Look at all the different various groups of illegal migrants that are operating this. And remember, a lot of times we're seeing all these different nationalities represented at our border. So of course, this is a consequence of the removal of Remain in Mexico and of Joe Biden asking asylum seekers, asylum fraudsters, to surge to the border so we can hear their claims. Because remember, that's who we are.
I would, in fact, make sure that we immediately surge to the border. All those people are seeking asylum. They deserve to be heard. That's who we are. We're a nation that says if you want to flee and you're fleeing oppression, you should come.
Look, New York City is known for being dirty. And I gotta be perfectly honest, I've gone to places like Boston. I've even gone to the historical areas of Philadelphia, not the areas that you see in all those different various videos, and I have to say, there is a griminess and a dirtiness to New York City, but there was a time in my memory where you could go to a public park and it was clean. This was actually an effort under broken windows policies to clean up Central Park, to clean up these outer borough parks, to not allow this dumping and whatnot. And I remember when I was a kid, and one of the kids that I knew actually kicked over a trash can, dumped all these recyclables down a hill because, boys like to destroy stuff. And he was actually confronted by a park patrol person because there was actually people who cared about this. They actually had consequences for his actions. And that was something I saw for myself. Again, not that long ago in the city of New York. But now, if you're an illegal migrant, you can throw your trash anywhere. You can turn this country, you could turn this city, you could turn these public parks into third world hellholes because you have God to your rights above any American. So you're not subject to health violations, vending licenses, permits of any kind. And of course, you could dump your trash anywhere and not have any consequences. In fact, get rewarded for this.
This is 61st Street between 8th and 9th Avenues here in Borough Park. You can see the garbage, including large items, just dumped here. I reached out to the city sanitation department. They said they will investigate and clean it up.
We throw a lot of resources and enforcement at this.
The city sanitation department says residents need to call 311 and that they have been issuing summonses.
So the sanitation guy says, oh, you got to call 311 when you see this stuff happening. And honestly, I recommend you do that. But then he says we're issuing summonses, so that these people can appear in court. But the thing is, there's no consequences for them not appearing in court. Remember bail reform laws? Remember the whole thing where you get a same-day automatic release no matter what? So you can give these people the citations, but again, there's no teeth to those citations because you can't get arrested for it, and even if you do get arrested, you won't be held in jail. And most importantly, if you're an illegal migrant and you're getting these summonses, there is no mechanism in this sanctuary state for you to be deported for this repeat behavior, for this third worldization of the United States of America.
When it comes to the food products,
they will take that food and compost the food.
So there's a reason why I hate New York City government, and that is exactly why. Because I don't give a damn at all if you're going to compost the food that these people are cooking in unsanitary conditions on the streets of New York City. The problem is not that it's being non-composted properly. It's the fact that it's happening. It's the fact that these people are above the law. It's the fact that they're making our city look absolutely disgusting. No rules are enforced against them, and they've been granted all these privileges and immunities, including luxury hotels, in, again, one of the wealthiest cities in the history of the world. And you're talking about how you're going to compost their garbage, how you're going to make it environmentally friendly. Shut up. Seriously, honestly. They're trashing the city. They're throwing all this garbage and all this waste that is inappropriate to be dumped all over the park. And you're going to tell me about how you're composting. Shut your face. What the hell is wrong with you?
the city got rid of all vendors on bridges like the Brooklyn Bridge by making it a no vending zone and giving the NYPD power to keep the vendors off the bridge. But in this case, sanitation does the enforcement unless
if there's other illegal activities such as selling marijuana, illegal weapons, or anything of that sort, we will be there to enforce it and we will make arrests.
So the police officer says right here that, hey, look, we can't do anything unless they're doing additional illegal stuff, like, selling drugs or guns out of there, in which case we will arrest them and then they'll get a same-day automatic release from bail reform. But that's the only way that we can actually intervene in these particular cases. Now, there was actually a viral video, and I'm sure a lot of you might remember it, of the churro lady being arrested in a Brooklyn train station. Now, a lot of people said this was an illegal migrant resisting arrest, and I can assure you the only place that woman migrated from was from the Bronx. I've been seeing her in the New York City subway system for about 15 years. She has nothing to do with this current wave of illegal migration, but they were able to arrest her probably because she was actually a citizen or a legal resident, because that's how New York normally operates when it comes to citizens that are engaged in illegal vending. But again, I said it would be worse, and it's about to get worse, because while there might be punishment for the shopkeepers that are renting out their sidewalk space, in reality, the illegals will be rewarded, because guess what? They're always rewarded.
Councilwoman Zhuang says she's trying to set up one area, an open market of sorts, where vendors can go. She says a no vending zone is not likely in her district.
Yeah, that's right. Now look, I don't have any problem with you setting up a vending area, like, a flea market kind of thing. These tend to happen in New York City for special events in various different blocks. But the fact of the matter is, people who legitimately want to be vendors, who go through the licensing system only to get denied because New York City artificially limits those vending licenses, they end up facing brutal consequences in terms of fines and fees, and their dreams of being small business owners being completely crushed by regulatory happy people like this city councilwoman. She never ever once did anything for a citizen that was in peril. She was happy to lock them out of the system, but now, all of a sudden, it's just impractical to have a no vending zone in her area. And these illegal migrants, you know what they need? They need their own special area to tear up to have as their vending zone, because, enforcement only works against the citizens, not these god-tier super citizens that are above the law.
For this area, it's very hard, I'll be honest with you, because we have a lot of people pro-vendor, and I'm trying.
We have a lot of people that are pro-vendor, and she's trying. Shut up. Again, shut your face. Stop talking. I never want to hear another word out of this representative's mouth, because if she actually cared about the people who are pro-vendor, you know what she would do? She would stop cracking down on those people who try to be legitimate vendors. Instead, she's allowing this criminality to go completely unchallenged. Again, we've seen reports over and over of this merchandise being stolen, of it being counterfeit, of it being fraudulent. We have the scam with renting out sidewalks. We have the sanitation issues with the food. But again, if you actually try to follow all the rules, but the only thing you can't get is that license because it's artificially limited by the city of New York, by people like this woman right here, you're totally screwed over. You're done. You're cooked, except for the fact that you can't cook unless you were an illegal migrant cooking something up on the street. What an absolute absurdity. I'm so tired of this. And honestly, this New Yorker really channels my inner spirit with her next statement.
It's disgusting. I'm embarrassed. And that's sad. When you're embarrassed about where you live.
Yeah, I am embarrassed. Now, thankfully, I don't live in this particular area or anything like that, but it's embarrassing not just as a New Yorker, not just as somebody from New York City, but it's embarrassing as an American that we're allowing this to happen. We have all this red tape to hold back the citizen, to hold down the citizen, to prevent them from achieving their dreams, from being entrepreneurs, from aspiring to do something better with themselves. But all of a sudden, when these newcomers come in, when they break the law and defraud the asylum system, they're completely immune from anything, and they're going to get a special cordon off area to have their third world market because, that's really what New York City needs right now. But you know what? Those are just my thoughts. I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. Am I going too hard on these illegal migrant vendors, or am I hitting the nail on the head, especially since I didn't mention this throughout the whole course of this video? A lot of them are kids that should be in school that are working selling this stuff for possibly paying off debts to the cartel. Again, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. If you like the video, show them by leaving a like, subscribe for more content, follow me on the social media, support me via the support links in the description of this video. This has been me talking about New York City going full third world. Till next time.